On today's video, 149 goes up against Kingdom 163. This is a summary video that's going to talk about the majority that happened in that fight. We're going to summarize in as briefly as possible a little bit of strategy, a little bit of who are the individuals that are important to know about each kingdom and how they affected the outcome of the war. And finally, a background story, which will be the first thing really we cover, which will explain to you guys a few misconceptions about this Lost Kingdom, including who is against who. We'll give you a little bit of more of an in-depth understanding on why this Lost Kingdom has a lot of misconceptions, as well as some very interesting understanding on how these two kingdoms are fighting each other, which will make a bit more sense once you know the background story. So sit back, enjoy the video. If you guys like it, find it informative, find it helpful, find it entertaining, hit a like on it, and you know what we do next, right? YouTube, welcome back to Gekko Gaming. The first two flags, 149 and 163, have met and madness ensued. We're going to talk about everything and anything today, and we're going to start with the background story. Now, the background story is a tough one to tell, and I'll tell you why. It involves multiple individuals from multiple kingdoms and multiple alliances, and a little bit of, this is not exactly how this is, that's not exactly how this is. Everybody has their little story, but I put together the pieces that all fit while trying to keep out the things that each side had from their own perspective. So this story is not only being told by sources from 149, sources from 163, but there are also sources from 103, as well as from 59, as well as from 86, 157, and individuals who were involved in the talks about how this Lost Kingdom will end up. So let's start really quickly by saying that when I started the series about this Lost Kingdom, I started by saying this is a 4v4, but not really. And when I meant 4v4, a lot of people went nuts. And what I meant was the four of us, our alliance that is 103, 86, 157, and 59, versus the other four kingdoms in this Lost Kingdom. But that was also not very true. 103 and 163 have a relationship that is a bit more deep than I'm going to go talk about in this video. But you guys will understand a little bit better what I mean later on, potentially. And so what happened was very simple. There are two Vietnamese cores within 163 and 149. And these guys don't like each other too much. What they wanted is each other's heads. And when the four of us who decided this is who we are going to be talked about the alliance, said, listen, we cannot split rewards among more than four kingdoms. That's way too much. And so what 163 said was, listen, we want 149. We want 149. Let us have 149. Just leave us alone. Leave us be. I understand that that's how it worked. That's very high level summary of the talks. But the bottom line is that this Lost Kingdom is not a 4v4 or a 5v3. It's actually a 4v3 v1, where that one wants one of the three, and that's that. That's how this Lost Kingdom was laid out. The guys from 149 really wanted to go at the guys from 163. 163 wanted to go at the guys at 149. It worked out really well. 2 thumbs up. On top of that, the fact that 149 was bottom right corner and their allies were bottom center and their enemy was center left, there was really nothing for them to do beyond go up. And 163 could have chosen to go up in zone 5 with their friends from 103, but instead they chose to go down and fight. They also have their presence up in that zone 5, but they went primarily down to try to fight for the honor against 149. So now the background story is behind us. This is the first rally. And you guys will understand in a moment what I mean by tenacity between these two kingdoms. 149 consists of War Z, Hakka, FENR, and a couple of other kingdoms, alliances which I completely forgot about. I think SIS is part of them as well. I may have forgotten a few of them. You'll see a bunch of those alliances on the screen later on. And some of the key personalities from there are, of course, Big Rick. We have MKiz, the leader of War Z, and the guy who is the king of 149. And then we have the folks from Haka who have incredible PD, one of their ralliers who's rallying right now among other very, very strong individuals. And of course, we have another friend of the channel in War Z, Jabba la 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 la, the real one, not the fake one. And he's a really cool dude as well. On the Anonymous Assassin side, we have two very, very known individuals. The first of them being George, who has the blue and white flag. You'll see him in a bit. And the other one is Baba, who is a 300 million power player. George is about over 200 million. And these two folks are the tip of the spear of what 163 is. Baba is also known for multiple big accounts, for having his group of individuals who work with him in 163 to get things done. And these guys are all cool people. Every single person's name that I mentioned, maybe with the exception of one or two, every time I hit them up, were like super supportive, super helpful, sent us reports for the most part. This, for example, we couldn't get a report of because it was at the most intense time in the beginning, and both these alliances really wanted to just focus on fighting. I also forgot to mention Tintin from Anonymous Assassins. He's also a really, really cool dude and sent me a lot of reports as well. So thank you for those who cooperate with me at all time, and of course for the amazing fight that you guys put up. But this lasted for so long that I had to cut some of the video out. Listen, we're not gonna sit here to watch a rally at 300% for 20 minutes. It's ridiculous. These guys went at it head on, and you're about to see a counter rally on the rally that hit this rally, and then the counter rally broke. It went so far that the rally on the flag had a counter rally hitting it, and the counter rally got broken up. Usually when the counter rally comes up, the rally cancels, but not in this case. And you're going to see you're not going to see the report of this rally, but you're going to see a report of another rally that came right after this one. And you'll understand what I'm talking about when I say these guys are going straight at it, to the throat, and not even a single care in the world. There comes another counter rally, the second one, this time with a Julius Caesar in the lead. Previous one was a Mehmed. And I think this is where the rally is going to break. Yeah, this is where the rally says, okay, enough. I think this was like 30 or 40 minutes. This was a crazy, crazy, crazy long rally. And then things slowly started working in the favor of Kingdom 149. And the reason for that is right here. If you take a look at the way they flagged, which I have a very brief overlook because I had to catch more action, what they did is they flagged out in a very spread way. You can see a lot of these alliances making their way up in channels. And the idea behind it was, first of all, more than one frontier worth of a war. And secondly, when you have gaps in between the flags, you have the availability to, instead of keep going up, to go left and then down a little bit, or left and then up, and leave some space for another alliance to come in and help double rally, which are the things that you're seeing right here. A lot of these flags got to the point where, okay, we need a double rally. That's fine. We have two lines in parallel. This guy's going to go a little bit down and this way, and then these guys are going to go a little bit up and that way. And now we have 1, 2, 3 on the one flag. Bam, triple rally. Look at how long this report is. Look at how long this report is. This should be familiar to you because these guys in the last Lost Kingdom broke a level 5 pass straight up by brute force. What they did is literally hit a pass for, like, first time was 2 hours or 3 hours or even more. I think the longest rally ever was these guys. And then the second time they hit it again for another hour, and the third time they hit it again. 1.4 million dead out of 7 million that participated. 811,000 dead for the other side. Big boy win for A right there. Big boy win right there. But still, oh my god. The fact that these guys don't care. The fact that these guys don't care to the point where it goes that far goes to show you how much tenacity and how much craziness there is between these two kingdoms. So going back to the way 149 dominated things very, very well from the beginning. What they did was, as I mentioned, they made paths and they allowed themselves space so they can reconfigure flags to be able to hit those triple rallies wherever they want to hit them. And there's nothing you can do to defend a flag when there's 3 rallies. When 3 rallies are hitting the flag with 3 different king alliances who have an ample amount of people in them, it's just way too much. Now, 149 is a super overcrowded kingdom. And it is facing its own little issues here and there because of that. Not because of the people necessarily, but because kingdoms were not meant to hold that many people. 196, 93, 149 are facing these issues of structural difficulties because there's not enough tiles, not enough barbarians, not enough stuff to sustain that many active players. But when it comes to war, they had the numbers all the time. So this is another rally by Haka, and I want you guys to remember this rally by Haka while we keep talking. You'll see why in a second. The problem for Anonymous Assassins from the get-go wasn't that they didn't have the numbers game against the 149, but what also seemed very clear is that they relied very heavily on George and Baba. You can see George's frustration in his name. If I don't know if my camera is blocking the name or not, but you might be able to get a sneak peek on it. And it tells the story of the frustration because these guys, alongside with Tintin, really had to carry the morale of the Alliance around. When they were around, their kingdom was relatively active and strong in doing what they needed to do. But when these folks have to sleep, have to work, have to take care of their family, have to take care of their life, run out of battery, run out of internet, whatever it is, and they're not available, 163 had such a hard time making any progress. Now, don't get it wrong. You're going to see a lot of Haka and Warzy and Fenner flag burning because at the end of the day, those who won are indeed Kingdom 149. But it doesn't mean 163 didn't burn a couple of flags, didn't try a little bit of a push, which they kind of managed to nudge a little and then get forced back. And they also had a few very cool tactics we're going to talk about in a future video. Now, as you can see, the rally broke, right? You'd say, Gekko, well, what are we watching now? Well, take a look at the FENR rally making its way. We just saw a Haka rally, right? Oh, wait, what is that? A War Z rally. That is right. Just like I explained to you, the way they flagged was so that they could help each other double and triple rally. And so this flag didn't just take a rally and barely managed to, recoup. Now there's a double rally on top of it. And I was like, no way, there are 2 rallies. So I had to get out of simplified graphics, show you guys the 2 rallies, go back in because everything was crazy laggy. And it gets even worse because remember that Haka also rallied this flag. And I just told you guys how tenacious these guys are. Do you actually think they were sitting on the sidelines looking at the double rally? They had a triple ready to go. Their triple's on its way. And there's no way to hold against 3 rallies. It's too hard. It is too hard, very expensive, not really worth it. And so, of course, this flag ended up burning. 163 fought insanely well. They had very cool strategies, very good ways to delay. They, until the last moment, and they still are, went hard. But they just didn't have the numbers game. And they didn't have the morale to actually push and do what they needed to do because of all the advantage that 149 had on them. And I really want to give a big shout out to 163 because they fought very strong and very well. A lot of other alliances across kingdoms, across all of Lost Kingdoms, not even ours, okay? All of the other Lost Kingdoms had a situation where after they won, when the first few burns happened, it was just a run over. These guys, one of their flags burned, and the next one was super reinforced. And then they placed the flag, and then they burned the flag, and then they placed the flag, but then it burned. And then the one they just placed burned as well, and they kept going back and forth. Every time Tintin, George, or Baba said, we're doing this, they went out, and they did whatever they could. And so that's a huge shout out for 163. But the clear victory went to 149, who were always in the driver's seat in this fight. Even though a few of their flags burned, they never really panicked or had a tough situation. The only time where they had a little bit of a tough situation may have been when they were a little bit low on troops because of time zones. But other than that, they did what they had to do. They pushed multiple frontiers at the same time, multiple rallies on the same flag, multiple everything. and they really caught 163 really, really badly. Now, 163 never fell didn't fall that easy, okay? I'm not saying 163 are not insane warriors. I'm not saying there aren't very, very strong and cool players in 163 who gave it everything they had, but there's just too much when you have to deal with this. Haka Incredible PD, freaking Fenrir Swarm something song, I think. I can't see the names too well. And Ric Flair on War Z. I mean, how can you go up against all this? And look at how much the flag is still holding with a triple rally hitting it. These guys were really, really strong. I am very impressed by both kingdoms. And yeah, what else can be said? 149, if you go look at Kingdom 101 right now, are solidly in the lead. But there is something about 149 we will discuss in a future video that'll answer you what you're seeing right now if you go to 101 right now. I want to go back really quickly to 149 as well and give a big shout out to the boys, to MKiz, who brought this kingdom to where it is, for better or worse, whatever is going on. You remember that this guy went from being TGS in Kingdom 16, who got beaten in the Kingdom 16 war, to rebuilding into War Z and coming into the top 32 again, with Big Rick in the charge there, leading as many rallies and fighting as much as he can. Jabba, the real one, not the fake one, on the battlefield doing everything he could and really losing its butt off. He lost so much power, it is crazy. It's just, at this point, it's a game of numbers, and 149 showed up with a lot more numbers. And a game of just, you know, who wants it the most. And there are things that will not be open in this forum right now, but there are things that are happening behind the scenes which could explain to you why 149 wanted it more than 163. Maybe we'll talk about it once, you know, time goes by and these things become a little bit of more of a public knowledge. But for now, all I can tell you is that 149 wanted it more, 149 fought for it more, and 149 got it. Anyway, I'm Gekko Gaming. I'm out of here. Thank you guys very much for watching this video. I know that there weren't that many reports. There's so much more content and footage to show you guys. It's just so hard to condense it into a shorter-ish video so you guys don't go too bored on me. There's plenty more footage coming in. I have two very, very insane videos. One of them is by far the craziest thing I've seen happen on a battlefield, and it's the next video. I think it's going to be out tomorrow. And then the next one is a festival of zeroings. That's right, including a few tier 5s. There was a big boy festival. You do not want to miss those videos out. So make sure you're subscribed to the channel. Slap a like on the video. If you have any comments, questions, suggestions, feedback for me about the video, about the content, about the story, anything, you're welcome to leave me a comment down below, as well as Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, and Discord are all linked in the description. Just go under the name of the game. You'll see like the poster of the game, click show more, and you have the links. If I got something wrong, please get in touch with me and let me know so I can correct things. In the next video, we'll talk about these folks. And yeah, I'll see you sooner rather than later. Enjoy your day, stay safe, fight hard, and yeah, peace.